What's up everybody, Omar Muhammad here, and in this video I'm going to share with you my top 6 questions I ask motivated sellers. So if you are a wholesaler or if you're an investor that's looking to get your first deal and you're working directly through the sellers and through your leads, this video is for you. So if you're new to this channel, my name is Omar Muhammad. I'm a real estate investor and I'm a coach and a mentor, help new investors get into real estate. So make sure you follow me to get the new videos, and then also on Instagram and join my Facebook group. So getting into it, question number one, I always ask motivated sellers, what can they tell me about the property? That's my main questions I ask. What they can tell me about this property, what about it? And then let them speak. People will usually go into a conversation, they will start telling you the history about it, when they bought it, the reason they bought it. Maybe they'll tell you it was an investment. Then you can go back and work like a deal with them where they can still be an investment and you can keep it to yourself and do like a seller finance. But listen, they're gonna drop some nuggets there, and I see a lot of people just don't listen and just go into the second question. So make sure you listen and let them speak. Now, if they give you all the answers, you're good. But if not, I go into question number two, and that is if the property is vacant or if it's occupied. And the reason I ask that is because this question help you determine over the phone what kind of shape the property is. And one main thing I want you to remember here, it's always better to have a conversation like this over the phone or in person than texting. The reason is because you're able to build rapport with the customer and work with them. So I never make an offer over texting. It's always over the phone or in person. People usually don't do business by text messages. They want to know who they're working with. So if they say that the property is vacant, I follow up with how long has it been vacant? Because if it's been vacant more than 4 or 5 years, it probably need, and some of them are 10 years, probably need a lot more repairs than if it's just been vacant for a year. Now, if they say it's been occupied, I ask if it's a tenant or if they're occupying them themselves. And if it's a tenant, I follow up with if the tenant has been paying rent and how much the rent is. And if there's a lease, how long the lease is. These questions help you on the long term and also help you structure the deal. Now, question number three is about repairs. This is a very important question because you want to know what kind of shape the property is in. So I'll ask the owner what kind of repairs it needs. And if you find that they're not giving you enough information, you can follow up with asking them about the electric. Is the electric turned on and working in the house? Then ask them about the plumbing and the water. Is there running water in the house, and how about the sewer line? Is it working? Those are hot ticket items that usually cost money to fix, a lot more money than other stuff than just paint and floor. Then I'll ask them about the windows and the roof and foundation. These are some questions that kind of give me an idea what kind of project that will look like. Now, once I get these questions and I have an idea about what kind of repair needs, then I go into my other question and ask them if they're the only owner of the property. And the reason I ask that is because you don't want to get all the way to the closing and run title, and then the title comes back that there's another owner that needs to sign and hold everybody up, and you do not want to waste your time or your money. Those are your two biggest asset when you're just starting, and you cannot afford to waste a whole lot of time or money, especially if you're just starting and working this as a part-time, or this is your side hustle where you work at a full-time job. Now, once they say that they're the owner or we have the other owner and they signed, I go and ask them if they own it free and clear. And if you're new and you're wondering what free and clear means, that means that they do not have any mortgage. There's no a home equity line of credit on it, or there might, like, there's no any hold, there's no mortgage, there's no back taxes, there's no anything on the property that will, there's no like a first lien holder. They're the only owner of the property. There's no liens, there's no taxes, there's no back bills. Like, everything is clear. Usually that will come in the title if there is, but you want to ask them, because if there is, maybe there's a lot of back taxes that you can just pay the taxes and take the property over. You do not want to make an offer and then again waste all the time to come back and find out that there was taxes or some liens on the property that comes up. Now, question number six, I ask them about the price. What price would they be willing to get? What is their good price to get all cash? And the reason I ask them about that is you do not want to sound like you're trying to just take their property. There's so many other people, wholesalers, investors, cash buyers, are trying to do that. So they're already on the fence. You're probably not the very first one to call them. So you gotta want to stand out. And you can stand out by trying to help them, not trying to take advantage of them. And trust me, when you do that, a lot of people will work with you instead of anybody else. And I've done it. And every single person that I've, bought their property or wholesaled it or kept it to myself, they left me a review. They said they will do business with me as well again because they felt like I'm there to help them solve their problem, and they know that I'm going to profit from them, and they absolutely didn't mind. Some of them even stopped after I fixed up the property and loved it and checked on it here and there. So work with your seller, not against your seller. You will find it a lot easier to negotiate and come up with a better deal when you know that. So once you, that doesn't mean you're going to give them exactly the asking price either, but you're going to try to work from there. So if they say, hey, I want, 25 grand, and you run your numbers and 25 grand works, that's great. But if you run your numbers and it's not, and you need to be at 15, then you can be like, listen, I would love to give you the 25, but here's why I can't, or here's what I can do so I can have money as well. And then they will understand. Or maybe you can even negotiate. If you want the 25, maybe I'll do this, and then once I refinance, I can give you the other, or you can come into a seller finance term. I usually do not make one offer. I'll probably make 3 offers to the customer, so because people love options. Now, if you like this video and you want to see more than that, make sure you like and subscribe so you get the new videos. And let me know in the link. Let me know in the comments below, what other questions do you ask?
Now, this is the most important question that you cannot get off the phone without knowing the answer to. And if you do not find out the answer throughout the whole conversation, you want to make sure you ask it. And that is the reason for selling. You want to know what exactly the problem. As I say all the time, we're in the business of solving problems, and you literally cannot solve a problem that without knowing what the problem is. So you want to make sure you ask what the reason for selling, and then come up with a solution that solves this problem so you can get yourself a deal.